Hi, my name is Jim Gibson. Thank you for joining me today on my channel. Very much appreciated. And today, one of the things I want to talk about is going to college without college debt. How to get through college without college debt. Now, I started out college with 35 cents in my pocket, and I knew I had 35 cents in my pocket because that's what I needed to get home that night to eat dinner. So after my first day, my very first day, going through orientation there in college, I decided that I had to get home to eat dinner that night, and I made sure before I left that I had 35 cents in my pocket. Now, did I have college debt? Yes, I did. I had college debt, and that took a couple years to pay off. I paid off all my college loans and everything else. I was very thankful that I had the loans to get through college. And I did appreciate that, and I made sure every single dollar was paid off, because that's the right thing to do, is pay your own debts. Don't expect other people to pay your debts. So I went to college and worked as hard as I could, 2 jobs sometimes, worked all during the summer, did not go to spring break or things like that other people did. But there's other ways to get through college where you don't have to do it that way. Now, I did not learn personal finance until years later, and you can watch that video. It's called Rags to Riches, and I do remember, because of that experience, I've learned personal finance, and because of that, my life is a lot different today. You know, the old saying, when a poor girl marries a poor boy, what happens? Well, they produce poor children. So my parents did not teach me anything about personal finance. And they did teach me to pay my debts, but they did not teach me anything about personal finance. I learned nothing. I didn't even know how to fill out a checkbook when I was in high school. But to make a long story short, my children learned differently. Now, 2 out of the 4 of my children went to college, and you know something? I didn't give them a dime. They had to pay their own tuition, they had to buy their own clothes, and they had to buy their own toiletries, you know, deodorant, shampoos, stuff like that. But they still made it through college without a dime in debt. Now, how did they do that? That's kind of interesting, isn't it? You would think the opposite, that, you know, and I hear parents say this all the time, I'm saving for my children's education. Well, yeah, but that's okay if you want to do that, but I didn't. I didn't save a dime for my children's education. First, I started out explaining to them that they didn't have to go to college if they didn't want to. There was no requirement in my family that you had to go to college. Because you know something? College today is a lot different than college when I went in the 70s. There was a lot of difference. You know, when I went to college, man, you better learn the subject that you're working on, and you better know it clear enough that you pass these exams, and there was no playing around at this point. And when I went through college, there was no spring break. Now, the college closed for a week, but that gave me the opportunity to work harder and longer hours. It didn't mean that I could hop on a bus in Philadelphia and end up in Florida, you know, on the beach, soaking in the rays. I couldn't do that. My responsibility was to get through college, period. When I told my parents I was going to go to college, my mom said, "You're wasting your time, don't go to college." But I decided I was going to do it anyway. And she said, "You know, we don't have the money to help you through college. You understand that?" And I said, "Yes, I understand that." And you know, looking back and knowing how much my dad made, because we didn't have a lot of money, I often joke that I didn't know I was poor. I didn't know my parents were poor until I got older. Then I realized how poor my parents were. They didn't have any money, and they couldn't help me. It's not that they didn't want to. I don't know if they didn't want to. They kind of thought this was my own experiment going to college. I'm thankful that they put it all on me. I'm thankful that they turned around and they said, if you want to go to college, well, then that's your responsibility, not ours. You handle it. And you know something? That was really good for me. So when it was time for my children to decide whether or not they're going to go to college, guess what? I said the same thing. I said, it's your responsibility, not mine. And so if you want to go to college, then you have to come up with a plan to get there into college, and at the same time, you're going to have to come up with a plan that pay for it. One of the things that my wife and I did do for our kids when they were at college, we said, you can stay at our house for free as long as you're at college and you have a job. We will not charge you rent. Now, we did charge rent during the summer, but if you went back to college in the fall, you got that rent money back. So there was no free living at the Gibson family when you were a kid, because I learned a ton of how a lot of things in life by the fact that my parents said, you pay for it yourself. So my kids got to live at my house for free, but we did not pay tuition. We did not pay for books. I don't think we paid for toiletries, deodorant, shampoo, things like that, and probably didn't pay for even their clothes. They're adults. When you hit 18, you're responsible for yourself. That's pretty much how I said it. Being a Marine Corps background, Marine Corps Navy background type of thing, I told my kids, I said, I'm sort of like the guy who's teaching you how to fly an airplane, okay? And so once you're done all your teaching, I'm done all my teaching and responsibility, you're going to hit that age, it's called 18. And I'm going to put you in that, so to say, that jet. You're going to be the pilot. It's going to be your life from here on out. And I am sort of like the aircraft carrier. And I'm going to station you right there at the catapult. And I'm going to hit the button when you hit 18. And you're going to go flying. Now, if you paid close attention to me, you're going to take off. If you didn't pay close attention to me and you make stupid financial mistakes and stupid life decisions, you're going to take off and dive into the ocean, and the aircraft carrier is going to go right over your body. So you better pay attention here. If you want to go to college, make sure it makes sense. And why? Why are you going to college? This is what I used to tell them. So remember, just 2 out of the 4 went to college. All my kids are doing great, by the way. But 2 decided they were going to go to college. And I asked them the question, why do you want to go to college? What is your purpose? What is your goal to go to college? And remember, you're going to be paying for it. So I told them, I'm not paying a dime. I'll give you a place to live. That will be my help. You have a room to live in. But you're responsible for the rest of your life here. You're responsible for everything in your life. Now, what happened was, and I encouraged them to do this, I said, in California, you got these junior colleges, 2-year colleges. And you can take those 2 years and you can apply it to a 4-year college. So you go 2 years in a junior college. Well, then at the end of your 2 years, you pass all your courses. Then what's going to happen is that you can take those 2 years and you can apply it to a 4-year degree at a college university. Hey, I pay taxes for this stuff as a parent. I paid taxes for education. I pay taxes for these colleges and things like this, the state colleges. I said, so therefore, you take advantage of those. Now, if you want to go to a 4-year college somewhere else, like if you get accepted at Georgetown or Harvard or something like that, fantastic, you have a nice time. Write me letters, call me once in a while. But I am not paying for it, okay? I hope I'm getting that across. Now, don't get me wrong, I love my kids, and all 4 of them, we have a great relationship. Now they're all adults in life and everything else. So I told them, look, if you're going to go to college, get rid of all these stupid courses that they require, like art appreciation. I hated art appreciation in college, but I was required to take art appreciation because when I lived in Pennsylvania there, the legislature decided that everyone had to have art appreciation and made them a more rounded person. I don't even want to be rounded. I just wanted to go through college, learn what I needed to learn, and move on in life. But I had to take art appreciation. It taught me not to appreciate art, if anything. So I told them there's a lot of stupid courses in a 4-year degree. Get the stupid courses out of the way with a 2-year degree. Get your AA degree. And get the courses you need to get all the stupid courses that you don't, And when you go to this junior college type of thing, they don't charge you the full amount. It's kind of like in California, it's very reduced, and you can take courses very reasonable price. And I said, and guess who's going to pay for them? You're going to pay for them because you're going to have a job. Now, my kids always had a job. Since they were 16 or whatever, they always had a job. So they knew the game here. They knew the plan and what was going to happen. And so, of course, they worked all summer. And, of course, they worked over holidays and vacations and stuff like that. And they worked just normal work during the year. And I taught them personal finances. I taught them about savings. I talked to them about giving. You got to give some of your money. It can't all go to you, because that makes you make God your money, or money your God. I got that right. You make money your God, and you can't have that in life. That will ruin you. And so they handled their own finances. They learned budgeting. They knew how much they needed for the next semester. And I would ask them those questions. Look, you're responsible here for your education. So what is it going to cost you? How are the textbooks? You going to buy new ones or used ones? It's your money. And they get very serious about the courses they take. They make sure they don't take frivolous courses that usually end in the word studies. So I explained to them that when you are done college, you will need to get a job. So don't get a degree in an area that no one cares about, okay? Get a degree where people are hiring and paying for you to have that knowledge. So they went to a 2-year college, and then they went to a 4-year college. After that, finished up the last 2 years, University of San Diego, and what was it? University of California, San Diego, and University of San Diego, San Marcos, which is not far from our house at the time. And so my children went to school that way. And you know something? Sometimes when you do different things and there's a obstacle in front of you, you learn a lot of things. You learn what you can do. You learn your abilities. You learn that you're responsible for your life. You're not a victim, unless you're a victim of your stupid decisions. And so my children learned that they are not victims. They have a responsibility in life. And they also have a responsibility to pay their own way and to take care of their own life. And I would say my kids are very well adjusted. And when they graduated from college, there was absolutely loans. There was nothing else that was needed. And they left college with a surplus in savings. In fact, if I remember right, the two that went to college had such a surplus that they were able to, within a year or two, put down a deposit on a house in California. Buy a house in California. That's not easy. I remember some situations where they budgeted how much money they were going to spend each month, each week, while they were at college, and they budgeted in such a way that dates, when they took their dates out, they didn't go to $60, $100 dinners. They went to reasonable dinners, and that was it. Once the money was gone that week, it was gone. So if you think that you got to save your whole life, I think I'm going to get a lot of comments on this video. If you're going to save your whole life and mortgage your house to get your kids through college so they can learn things that they can't get a job with after they get out, well, then that's your business. That's not mine. And I shouldn't have to pay for it through my taxes and forgiveness of college debt, things like that. But that's your decision, my friend. I know that I got through college and I didn't get a one dime from the government, except for loans that I paid back. And my children went through college and didn't even borrow loans, and they had money left because they learned about the value of a dollar, and they also learned about how to manage their money. And because of that, they're doing fantastic in life. So thank you for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and catch me on the next video.